Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Ojinika.
You're so happy this morning. How are you?
Why? I'm always happy when I see you.
I know that. I'm always happy to be here. Good morning, Tundu Abiola.
Good morning,
you look
darling.
like a queen.
Thank you. So do you.
Yeah.
Oji, you should know I'm always happy when I see you.
I know that
Anyway,
for sure.
Oji,
You know that.
Well, all right.
Over to you.
Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In the United States, a federal judge on Wednesday ordered Texas to suspend Senate Bill 8, the most restrictive abortion law in the country, calling it an offensive deprivation of a constitutional right by banning most abortions in the nation's second most populous state since September. And NASA's SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that will deliberately crash into an asteroid on behalf of Planetary Defense is preparing to launch on November 23rd. The mission will be the agency's first full-scale demonstration to redirect asteroids targeting Earth. In Sweden, two scientists, Benjamin List and David Macmillan, on Wednesday won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry for finding an indigenous and environmentally cleaner way to build molecules that could be used to make a variety of compounds, including medicines and pesticides. And the World Health Organization, in what has been described as a historic moment, endorsed the world's first malaria vaccine to be given to children across Africa in the hope that it will spur stalled efforts to curb the spread of the parasitic disease. Under sports, the Italian Footballers Association on Wednesday named 22-year-old Super Eagles striker Victor OSIMHEN the Serie A Player of the Month for September, following his amazing start to the 2021-2022 season. OSIMHEN scored 7 goals in 6 matches across all competitions for Napoli in September. Finally, under entertainment, on Wednesday, a rare collection of drawings, sketches, and paintings by champion boxer Muhammad Ali was sold at Bonham's auction house in New York for nearly $1 million. Muhammad Ali, who is hailed as one of the greatest ever athletes, activists, and poets, is not commonly known for his artistic talents.
Well, let's begin what's trending following the ongoing security challenges in the southeast. The governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, raised the alarm on live television that new groups may emerge in the region to counter the secessionist agitations of the Indigenous People of Biafra. The governor went on to describe the two separatist groups in the region, which are IPOB and MASOB, the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra. The governor said MASOB had never issued threats in the region. IPOB, on the other hand, has been issuing threats and says he fears that if IPOB does not call its people to order to stop the threats and killings, other groups will rise up to counter it. On Tuesday, Senate Minority Leader Einaya Abaribe had said there are more than 30 separatist organizations in the southeast. Well, reactions trailing this story is that, these southern governors, for a while, they announced Ebubeago. And now David is saying that, a new separatist group might rise up, or a new group might rise up. People are saying, I hope that they're not going to be political thugs, because if you are talking about new groups, what about the security outfits that you were planning to, bring out to counter these threats in the southeast?
Which is why all issues must be nipped in the bud before they grow into something unwieldy and you cannot control it. And it's typical of these organizations. We see splinter groups forming all the time. So the fact that it's being posited that this could happen in the southeast is unfortunate, but not surprising. But what I find really interesting about Governor Umahi's comments about MASOB being peaceful in their agitation is that this is why it's important to sit down with those who are peaceful and those who are reasonable, because if you miss that opportunity, the next level is a more radical group, and the next level after that will be even more radical, and so on and so forth until Armageddon, which is why everything, as I said initially, must be nipped in the bud. It's not too late right now. But what I also found very sad and striking about his comments was when he said it is our people killing our people.
Very sad.
That, for me, is the most damning part of this whole situation.
Yes, Ehinaya Abaribe Rufai saying that there are 30 separatist groups that are already in the southeast. What is your take on that?
That makes me scared. I'm very scared, in fact. And I'm scared at the waste, the destruction, the plunder of the southeast now. I don't even know what is going on there any longer. Livelihoods destroyed. I know somebody that owns a factory that employs about 1,000 people in Onitsha. The city at home that disrupts business. They have to work on Saturdays now because Mondays are gone. Soludo, Charles Soludo, former CBN governor, was saying over 19 billion has been lost. You can't have development without peace. Whatever the agitations are, we need to stop this. This is madness. It has gone south. 30 groups, all armed. We don't even know what's happening. We keep saying unknown gunmen. I don't know what's happening, but all I want is for peace in the southeast. And I think whatever the agitations are, it's not by killing innocent people, like Dr. Dora Akinyuli's husband.
Yes.
That
is the solution to this problem. So whoever is doing it, maybe the political front or something, this is not what will bring about peace. Please, we should stop it. Livelihoods. You know, the person I was talking to is thinking of how to take their business away. They're telling me that I've provided businesses, employment for people in the Southeast. I'm thinking of taking my business out of the Southeast.
Oh, no.
There's poverty that will continue. Whatever is happening, it must stop.
Yes. Dr. Abati,
This is scary.
your comment on this story.
Okay, here we have two leaders from the Southeast saying two different things.
Yes.
Ehinaya Abaribe, Senate Minority Leader, says there are 30 groups that are operating in the Southeast. Well, we don't know whether that is true or not, but if it were to be true, that would be really scary.
Very scary.
It means that the situation in the Southeast is perhaps far more dangerous and endemic than we ever imagined. However, the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, says, well, he doesn't know what information Ehinaya Abaribe has, but he doesn't think that that is the situation. He says that, to the best of his knowledge, there are two major groups in the Southeast. The IPOB, which he says is a violent group, and MASOB, Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, which he says just protests and is not involved in killings. But whatever it is, whether there is a group that is killing, whether the group is 2 or 15 or 30, even if it is only one, we should not have in any part of Nigeria, whether it's Boko Haram or those they call bandits, whatever they call them, you know, violating the integrity of the state and making life difficult for other Nigerians and, you know, disrupting the sovereign order. It's criminal, it's unacceptable, it's inhuman, and it draws Nigeria back. Now, Tunu made a point earlier that, look, it is our people killing our people, not outsiders. That's what Governor David Umahi, who has been speaking a lot in the last few days in the media. Should Igbos kill Igbos? Should we have Igbo on Igbo violence? Should we have any kind of, you know, one group violence on top of another group? That in itself speaks to the insecurity in the country. And it is not enough for either Ehinaya Abaribe or David Umahi, as governor of Ebonyi State, to complain that this is the situation. One of the major issues that Nigerians face is that they have leaders who behave like journalists. They come across, they come around, and they are expressing opinion. They are also saying this is what we have observed. No, you have been elected into that position so that you can take steps, either through policy or through legislation or through collaboration with the controllers of the instruments of coercion, to make sure that ordinary people like us can move about freely. So when public officials begin to sound like journalists and they are making observations, this is the situation, they are doing analysis, that means we're in big trouble, bigger trouble than we can ever imagine.
Well said, Dr. Abati. We'll take another story in River State, where a lawmaker, Cynthia Nwala, was on Monday battered and stripped in the council premises of Eche local government after she was accused of trying to make away with the mace for the council. According to the lawmaker, the assault was carried out by the Chief Security Officer of the Council, Chinedu Onyechi, on the orders of the local government chairman, Obinna Anyanwu, who has denied the allegations. Nwala said the altercation started after she tried to take the mace from the council's premises. According to her, it was her duty to secure it as a result of the leadership crisis among councillors in the local government. That was when the security began to beat her. She said they tore her clothes and even vandalized her car. Viral photos showing the distressed councillor has provoked angry reactions from stakeholders, with women interest groups asking the police in Rivers State not to take the matter lightly. This is such a disgrace, complete disgrace. This violence against women has to stop. I was so upset when I read this story. How dare you tear a woman's garment? Why? Because of what?
OJ, you know, sometimes I make a mistake and I confuse myself for a human being. Then I remember I'm only a woman.
No.
We're not deemed as quite human, are we? Because we have a long, ignoble history in this country of mace snatching. People snatch the mace to have, because it's a symbol of legislative authority. They want to hold on to it. But have you ever heard of any of those men, from the first mace snatcher in the 60s, Mr. Ebube Dike, to all the way to Mr. Ifeni Senator Ovi Omoagege.
Senate president now.
Have you ever heard of them being stripped and their clothes torn off them? Even President Obasanjo, in one of his favorite pastimes of removing Senate presidents, Chuba Kadibo, the late great Chuba Kadibo, had the mace in his house, didn't he? Did anybody attack him and tear his clothes off him? Why are women treated like animals? I don't understand it. And it cannot be tolerated. This assault, they must be prosecuted. She has fingered the person who attacked her. He must be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Correct. Well said, Tundu. Dr. Bati, your comment.
Well, I mean, yes, Tundu, I agree with you. This case of discrimination against women, sexual assault against women, harassment of women, the treatment of women as second-class citizens, as the title of a novel by Buchi Emechita clearly indicates, and it's something that should be dealt with. And in this particular case, it's not part of legislative privilege for the chairman of a local government legislative assembly to give orders to the chief security officer to say, go and harass someone. There must be more civilized, more decent ways of addressing whatever omission that, Honorable Cynthia Nwala may have been involved in. Okay, what's her position? She says the CSO is not working with her. The chairman of the HA local government is also not working with her. And it was on the basis of that she decided to take the mace. The other party is saying, no, she's not supposed to be the custodian of the mace, that the appropriate person is the sergeant at arms, and there is such an officer, whatever may have been the provocation. Maybe in that regard, maybe she also erred, because she's not supposed, at the end of legislative activity, to take the mace and say, okay, if you people are not on my side, I will carry the mace to my house and I will bring it back. We've seen the abuse of that symbol of legislative authority, as you appropriately called it, before now, under Senator Chuba Kadibo. We've seen it most recently in Edo State. And we've also had cases in this country of a senior president removing the generator, the power supply generator, from the National Assembly and the mace, and he took both properties of the state to his village. Not for 2 weeks, but for a longer time, and nothing happened. So the concern, therefore, is we have lawmakers who are supposed to produce laws, to deliberate in the interest of Nigerians, and to produce laws for the good governance of Nigeria. They are among the most lawless segment of the population. So what happens when lawmakers break the law? So that's an indication of anarchy, of lack of seriousness. The third leg of it is that if you looked at what they did to Honorable Nwala, they targeted a particular section of anatomy. So what you are dealing with are people who are, borderline animals.
Yes.
They did not take her back. They wanted to really strip her naked. And they targeted you know, a certain area. I don't want to use other, but I think the point I'm making is quite clear. Stop looking at me like that.
I mean, I don't even
I'm just
know.
making my point that, you know, these are people who are borderline animals in terms of how they behave and they are the kind of target that they do. But it's not just in Nigeria, it's across Africa, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia. When they want to embarrass women, either they are complaining about their dressing or they are trying to strip them naked. Can we have, I mean, why should we have legislative assembly
Why should you touch a woman?
of a potential rapist?
Why?
It's vile.
Rufai.
So I think we can all agree on something, because you see, since I joined the morning show, we started What's Trending. And when we talk about stories like this, it's obvious this country needs a mental reset.
Absolutely.
Because you see, it is only a level of madness that will make a man strip a woman naked in public, no matter what the provocation is. You could have overpowered her to collect the mace from her, if that's the case. But strip her naked? What are we becoming as a society, really? Because I'm scared, you know. There's a part in this country people can't go to because of, you know, killings here and there. Almost every part there's killings, stripping a woman naked. Everybody's just running amok. What's really going on? What's going on? I mean, how did we get here? And this is supposed to be a local government, the third tier of government, the closest one to people. You know, they're not arguing about developmental projects for people. They're concerned about stripping a woman naked.
Terrible situation.
What's really going on in this country?
We need a mental overhaul.
What's going on?
Absolutely.
Something is wrong somewhere.
We'll take our final story. With this video showing 5 young men who embarked on a dangerous journey to Europe on board the MV Jane Majuro, sailing off from the Apapa port in Lagos. These men were not sailors. They hid inside the ship's rudder. Let's take a look.
See. But these guys, they fund you. 3, 4. Last one.
Thank God these men were rescued. What were they thinking to do? This goes to show how bad people want to leave this country. I mean, you would rather die than to be in Nigeria. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, for me, this is clearly a kamikaze mission, and it just does, you know, show the desperation. However, while I commend the Navy, and I'm really glad to see this Navy patrol, you know, them, you know, doing their maritime security duties, this wasn't just a rescue, I'm afraid to say. It was also an arrest. Because these gentlemen have committed a crime for which they will be prosecuted. And the law, this is why some people are critical of the law. In Nigeria, if you try to kill yourself and you fail, you can be imprisoned for trying to kill yourself. These men who are desperate enough to try and stow away, they're probably going to go to jail. Because if you look at the criminal law of Lagos State, you have Section 400, illegal boarding of a vessel, and Section 412, conspiracy. Because they've all planned this operation. They're going to go to court and probably be jailed, unfortunately. Yeah.
I hope they do that.
Yeah, that's a rescue / arrest.
A quick lesson for them.
I think this is an instructional moment. Even if you want to leave Nigeria, on no account should you go as a stowaway. Please. On no account should you go as a stowaway.
I've heard those from the airplane stowaways that have died. So
on
many
no
of them.
account. Some of them died.
So
On no account should you go as a stowaway. There are legal means.
Yeah.
Obtain a passport, go through the necessary routes.
Most of these people can't afford that, Rufai. Really, that's the issue.
They need in the rudder of the ship.
Yeah.
The rudder of the ship, you know, rotates.
Yes.
So they could either have died there,
Completely.
or they could have drowned.
Completely.
And to your point about suicide in Nigeria, yes, suicide in itself is not an offense. Just make sure that you succeed.
Yeah, if you fail.
So if you fail, the main offense is attempted suicide. Yeah. And the criminal code is very clear. You are not allowed to kill yourself. If you don't succeed, you go to jail.
Yes.
Now, and this is not only in Nigeria that has happened. You remember that Kenya that
Yes.
dropped off a plane as a stowaway somewhere in
Nigeria
London.
It was frozen.
And before then, there was another guy in West London, who was a stowaway who also dropped from the sky. But yes, you can say objective conditions in Nigeria force people, compel people to say they've had enough of this, frustration here. But I think all illegal migrants should be reminded that the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side. There are thousands, hundreds of Nigerians who are out there abroad, who are, doing many jobs and who cannot cope and who cannot survive. But out of shame and embarrassment, they won't be able to come home. I think everybody needs to be enlightened about the fact that the streets of London or Washington or wherever in Canada, those streets are not lined, they are not paved with gold. Anywhere you are in the world, you still have to put in the work for you to be able to survive. Thank you very much.
Well said.
Ojineka.
Thank you, guys.
Please don't be a stowaway. Don't try it.
Absolutely.
Don't get killed.
That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. See you tomorrow.